Yeah, so welcome and happy to have all of you here. And yeah, we should have a great day. We're going to have some Qigong practice. We're going to have a little mini class. We're going to have a little demo. We're going to have a lovely meditation. So it'll be a full 2.5 hours that we have. So you really get a taste of what it is we do and what it is to offer. And of course, we can just give you a taste because that's really all there's time for. So in a class, we have sort of the ritual of how we start each day. And we begin with John taking over the Qigong so that we get our energy all sparkled up to go into the classes, to bring the energy and bring that sense of peace and harmony. So John,
All right. Well,
over to
welcome
you.
everybody. It's so lovely to have you here today. So we're going to do a little bit of Qigong practice that you'll learn in the course. We'll get a very basic work with that today. We'll go into a lot more detail as the course and in the course, but for now, let's get a sense of what we'll be doing. So to do that, we're going to find a nice place to stand and make sure that when you stretch your arms out, you can move them around without hitting anything. So find a nice place to stand up and we'll get started. Okay, so let's take that moment. Feel your feet on the floor. Sense of connection with the earth, as if you have roots coming out of your feet. Let your knees be flexible and just get this sense of a nice, long, upright posture. Good. And just bring your hands out in front of you for a moment. And let's breathe in and let's just sink a little bit. A little bit of a squat and then rise up. Let's breathe in as we sink. Hands float up and then drop the hands as you rise up. Just a sense of pulling up earth energy. And just notice if you can get a sense of that. This idea of we are with the earth. We kind of grow right out of the earth. We are part of this energy. Hence, we even call ourselves, we're not only humans, we're earthlings. We're part of the earth. Good. Breathing in and out. Just have this moment to sense this chi, this life force that keeps us connected with this beautiful planet. Couple more breaths. Inhale, exhale, rise up. Inhale, squat a little bit. Exhale, rise up. And just pause here for a moment and just get a sense of that. See if you can feel a little bit more connected with your feet on the earth, on the floor, which is your representation of the earth. Good. And let's bring our focus to our palms, and let's imagine we can grab some of that earth energy, lifting our arms out to the side, turn the hands forward and grab some energy from nature, turn them up and grab some energy from the sky. And let's wash all that down the front of the body and get a sense of how that can wash away your stress, wash away your tension, and send it down into the earth. And again, gathering more energy from earth. Turn them forward to grab nature, turn them up to grab some from the sky. Same movement, but this time imagine it going down the back of the head, back of the neck and shoulders, over your spine, all the way down over the buttocks, backs of the legs, and down into the earth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, gathering from earth, gathering from nature, gathering from the sky above. Let's imagine we can open the crown and clean out the brain. Help all those sense organs, help your throat, help your chest and your abdomen and your pelvis, all the way through your legs, through your feet, and down into the earth. And just take a moment just to feel that, a sense of being present in this moment. Good. And we're going to do a little bit of clearing. So clearing out tension. So in Chinese medicine, they call that purgation, which is just clearing. So I'm going to invite you to start by just lifting your hands out to the side and then let them drop. And then you're going to lift them again, but this time let one hand go in front and one hand go behind you. So we're going to inhale and then we're going to exhale, like you're tossing a ball from one side to the other. Inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And we'll go, like I said, we'll do a lot more detail as we go forward. But for now, just get a sense of this idea of work with this intention of tossing away any tension you have in your life. You know, a lot of stress or anxieties or fears or worries or frustrations, grief or sadness. See if you can just toss some of that away to allow your chi to flow a little easier. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. A lot of focus on that exhale through the mouth to let it go. Good. Let's do that one more time to each side. And then come back to the center. Bring your feet a little bit closer together. Let's continue with a little bit more clearing. And your feet are going to come closer together, and I'm going to invite you to lift and drop the heels and just bounce. It's called dropping post. Now, if you find that challenging, leave the heels on the ground and just bounce with your knees. But get a sense of that vibration going from that. From that bounce, goes from your heels all the way up to the crown of your head. And just feel how that's shaking loose anything held deeply in the body. And just let go of it with a sigh. Just go, ah. Inhale. Ah. Just see if you can relax the body as much as you can as you bounce. You can see my hands really flopping around. I'm just trying to relax into the bounce. Ah. Good. Getting a sense of that vibration going up and loosening up any tension deeply held in the body. At the same time, it's strengthening your bones. So your bones are getting stronger. Ah. Let's do that. A couple more times. Ah. A couple more sighs. Ah. Good. And then slow it down. Just pause for a moment and feel that buzzing in your hands. It's usually much easier to feel it in the hands. You might feel it in other parts of your body. We're starting to activate your life force, get your energy moving. So let's do one more exercise that will help to purge out any of that tension. So if your feet come back out to about shoulder width, and let's shake those hands now. Move that up to your elbows. Move it up to your shoulders. And then exhale and shake it down your body and go, bah. That's called trembling horse. So we inhale, we shake the wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Exhale from your head all the way down to your feet. Good. Inhale, up the arms. Oh. Just release. This is really good for the nervous system, for the fascia, for anything more on this level of the skin. Let's do a couple more of those. Oh. And again. Oh. Good. And just pause. And once again, now you might feel a little more. You might feel it more deeper into the arms. You might feel it in your neck or your head. As we really start to get the chi moving. All right, let's wash that away. Let's do pulling down the heavens again. Let's gather from earth, from nature, from the sky above, and let's give a little wash over the front. Anything that's there, let's continue to just wash it away. Anything we've set loose. And again, inhale, earth, nature, and sky. Give a little wash down the back. Just get a sense of how we can release that. And one more time, right through the crown of the head, through the brain, through all the sense organs and the throat, chest, through the abdomen, the pelvis, through the legs, through the feet, and down into the earth. All right. Good. So we like to work with purgation because we want to clear that energy out before we put in fresh energy, which is called tonifying. So we're going to do a tonifying exercise that's really good for digestion. So bring your hands down by your sides. Place your tongue behind the upper front teeth. So take the tip of your tongue, place it behind the upper front teeth, close the mouth, and we're going to try to breathe with the nose only. So let's inhale, bring your hands up. Exhale, let them come back down. Inhale, exhale. We're going to go into a lot more detail for this exercise in the course, but for now, let's get a sense of inhale. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. It's like you're pulling energy into your belly and then activating it. Pulling in some more and activating. Nice deep breathing pattern. Inhale, exhale. Starting to get more that deep breathing pattern, which we'll do practice a little bit of breath work later today. But for now, let's get a sense of how can we breathe deep into that abdomen to really activate all those digestive organs. So we're going to pull in more chi and then activate it on the exhale. So we're creating this spinning motion, breathing in and out. In and out through the nose. A few more. Last couple. Good. And then bring your hands right over your navel for a moment. And without the arm movements, let's do some deep breathing. Just get a sense of that with the idea of I'm supporting my digestion. Don't even have to try more than that. Just have that intention. I'm supporting my digestion as I breathe. Let that be part of the process. Good. And then let's do a little support for the kidneys now. So bring your hands around to your lower back and give your kidneys a little rub. Lower back area, just give them a little rub. Take your stance and go a little bit wider than your shoulders. Good. So we're going to work with each kidney individually. So we'll start with the right kidney, and I'm going to do your mirror image. So take the back of your left hand and place it right there in the lower back. So it's going to look backwards here, but I want to give you a sense of that. So palm faces away, right there on the lower back, right behind your right kidney. Bring your left arm or your right arm up. And let's begin to support that kidney by pretending like we're a giant water wheel. So we're going to go down. We're going to exhale like we're standing in water. We're going to scoop it up with the hand. And then we're going to soak it in. Let's breathe that energy in of the water element. Let's exhale, gather some more. And inhale. Exhale. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. Work with your body. If that's not good for your knees, go a little higher. Just pretend like the water's a little deeper. So we're going to gather, exhale. Still breathing with our nose. Still having that tongue behind the upper front teeth. Help balance out the breath. A few more. Exhale. Last couple. Let's go down. Let's gather that water and then bring it right across the face. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Bring this whole conduit aqueduct here to fill that right kidney. And now we'll do the same thing for the left kidney. So take the back of your right hand, place it directly behind your lower back. Bring your left arm up. Let's go out to the left and scoop up that water and wash across the face. Exhale, gathering our chi. Inhale, scooping, gathering, and receiving it. So it's a gather and receive. Rolling through this movement. Getting a sense of how that can charge up that left kidney as it comes into the arm, that left arm all the way down across the backs of the shoulders and up down the right arm to the kidney. One more time. Good, and a little bit more of a rub in the lower back. Saying hello to your kidneys, your energetic batteries. Just give them a little recharge there. All right, and then let your arms come down. So there are 5 main organs that we work with. We work with the lungs and the kidneys, the liver, the heart, and the spleen. So I'm going to show you another one, and this one's the spleen. So bring your hands down by your side. And let's take a breath in and make an outline of the earth. Let's bring that energy that we've gathered from all around us and bring it right down to the crown of your head, through the center of your body, all the way down to your waist, called the danchen. And then we're going to flick your fingers to release any charge, and touch your thumbs and index fingers. So it's going to create a little mudra. And we're going to lift that up. Now you decide where this works for you. Maybe in front is better for your neck. If you can go all the way up and look up, that's great, but don't overstretch the neck. We're going to take a breath in here. And as we exhale, let's turn to the right. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale as we twist. So a slight twist. Don't have to over twist. Working with this idea, and try to look through that diamond. If it's a little bit too much above you, go a little forward. Make sure you're not over stretching the neck, and use the peripheral vision. It's a little bit easier to help support this movement. Connecting more with the energy of the earth element. Inhale up, exhale down. So it's a little bit of a twist and a down too. But right now, just focus on the twisting. Inhale, exhale to the side, inhale to the center, exhale to the other side, and one more to each side. Actually, we started on this side, so let's finish over on the left. And come back to the center, and let your arms slowly descend to the center of the body, and bring one hand on top of the other to the navel. Let's take some deep breaths here. And smile. Let that energy come back that's not needed in these organs. Let's let it settle here in your danchen so it's available for later. Imagine it coalescing into a ball. And that ball compressing down, getting smaller and smaller and smaller, all the way to the size of a pearl. Beautiful, vibrant pearl right there beneath your hands, inside your belly, inside the abdomen. And then see that pearl, work with the intention. If you're not visual, that's okay. Just work with the intention. Intend that it drops down to your pelvic floor, and then release your hands. And let's move that pearl through something called the microcosmic orbit. So we're going to take it up the spine. Imagine we can pull it up the spine, all the way to the crown of your head, and then extend the arms and bring it right down the center line of the front. So I'm going to go up the back and down the front. Inhale. Exhale. Still breathing with the nose, tongue's on the upper palate. Working with moving this pearl, helping to balance out. This is called regulation, to balance out all the stuff we worked with earlier through this circuit. Up the spine, down the front. Just get a sense if you can move that with your awareness, with your breath, with the breath is helping, with the hands movements. All these are helping to move that imaginary pearl through this orbit to help harmonize the energy in your body. Good. Inhale up the spine, exhale down the front. Good. Two more. Good. And then bring your hands back to the navel. A few more deep breaths, still breathing with the nose, tongue on the upper palate. Bring your feet closer together. Take a moment just to let that energy settle here. And let's just symbolically lock this in by rubbing some circles. It doesn't matter which direction you start. Do some in one direction, and then we'll do some more in the other direction. Good. All right. Rub your hands and generate a little bit of heat. Cup them over your glasses or over your eyes, and let's soak that energy from your hands through the eyes, through the optic nerves, all the way into the brain as you inhale. And imagine it flowing down your spine as you exhale, down to your waist, to the area known as the danchen. Good. A little wash of the face from the chin to the forehead and then over the ears. Inhale up, exhale down, and let's just say hello to all those sense organs. Give a little support there. Good, a little tap of the forehead. Move that to the crown of your head. Tap the side of your head, back of the head, back of the neck. Just sending that chi in a little deeper. Move it down to the shoulder, down to one side, and then tap all the way down to an open palm. And then do the back of the hand and work your way back up. You decide how aggressive you tap. Come across the chest to the other side. And do that shoulder to that palm. And do the back side. Say hello to the heart and lungs, sides of the body, and those digestive organs again. So let's go up the right side. So doing it correct on your body. Up the right, down the left, up the right, down the left. That's helped that digestive tract. One more time. And then tap beneath the navel. We'll see if chi. Come around the waist and say hello to the kidneys, lower back. Little tap there, and then tap the legs, starting with the side of the buttocks, and go down the outside of the legs, around the feet and toes if you can, and then back up the inner legs. Tap right here at the pelvis, leg gates, all those lymph nodes that are there, and then let's stimulate Sea of Chi once again. Good, and just have a moment. With your arms at your side, breathing with your nose, just have a moment just to feel your energy. Notice how it might feel different than perhaps when we started. Getting some more flow happening here. Yes. Good. Thank you, everyone. Let's take that and have a great rest of our day here. So that was very introductory, but that was a great little session for teaching you some exercises from what we call the Taoist 5. The Taoist 5, or it's also known as our basic healing workout. So it's a great one to work with all the organs. It's just one of the things that we'll be teaching you, and we'll also teach you some other good things like the something known as the Wudong series, which is a series of regulating exercises that are great. Um, you get to know this word prescriptions that you can give people. We also will be doing individual organ massages for the five main organs, the yin organs, for the heart and the lungs and the liver and the kidney and the spleen. Then we'll also be teaching you some acupressure points and working with massage, the self massage, which is a lovely form of movement that can really work with supporting everything from head to toe. And it was actually one of the first things I taught people. Before I finished the first year, I was already teaching classes because I was so excited about it that I wanted people to know about it. So that was one of the things that I did. So there's lots of things that this is just part of it. There's lots more, but as far as exercises and things, that's kind of an overview of what some of them that we'll be teaching, and there are more than that too. Yeah.
And so the Qigong practice will be deepens as we go on. And so first you begin with kind of the choreography, learn the actual movement, and then you get more into the details and you get into the more of the chi flow and the organ meridians. And and then we get more into that connection that the wonderful thing about Qigong is that it's not just you out there alone, kind of building muscle or something like that. It's an interaction. And so it's this interaction with the earth, with nature, with the heavens, and that you are playing with these great forces, and you are bringing them in to support you in your wonderful healing journey. And that becomes more and more what you're doing. It's like it's not just me here, it's this relationship. And that's why John started you off with this great connection to the earth and like to really emphasize these things. So yeah, so and there are different practices, and yes, and so they are, as John said, they're given out as prescriptions. um, Someone will come and they will need certain, their constitution or what they're dealing with, might be a sort of like one kind of a kidney thing. Someone else it's more of a spleen thing. Someone else it's more of a liver thing. Someone else is more of a heart thing. So that allows us to really tailor these exercises, and we have a lot of exercises that are very specific to healing, which is, quite different from a lot of the qigong that you may come across out there. And so that's, one of the great things that we actually get to offer. So, okay. Anything else about that, John? I mean, it's such a big subject.
Yeah, such a big subject. There's lots we could go into that would take us more than 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
but this is just part of the program, as you're going to see some other things that we'll be offering as we go through the next few hours. But the main thing I want to say is being inviting you to be curious. That's one thing about that I think makes Qigong very unique. When we're doing these exercises, even though, especially when you're just kind of learning the choreography, you're just kind of moving your hand like, oh, I'm doing this rotation here with my arm. What's all that about? If you can get more curious about it, you start to get a sense of the different energy flows that are happening. That starts to deepen your knowledge of yourself and how you can support your own healing and how you might be able to support people. If you're interested in helping others, there's many ways we can use the course. If you want to take it and help others, maybe you just want to help friends and family or something like that. That can also be very powerful too. You have suggestions and things that you can offer them. So the curiosity will help to really build that muscle of how's the chi moving, where is going on. I still, because I'm curious about things, I've done exercises for years, for over a decade, and I still go, how did I not notice that before? So it's still quite profound.
Yeah, and we really encourage students to pay attention when they're doing these practices and to really, it's a lot about paying attention. It's a lot about feeling how the chi is moving inside of you.
Mm.
Um, And also, one of the other things that John and I like to say is make sure that you're smiling. Make sure that, that it doesn't become like, oh, now I have to go and do my half-hour practice. Because if you're feeling enslaved to it, you're not going to get any benefit from it.
No.
So it's better to take a break or do a shorter practice. So what we often say is, well, then do a shorter practice. And then sometimes you do a shorter practice, and then it's like, well, I don't want to stop now. It's like, oh, I need to start. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't get my Qigong in today. Okay. And then it's like, okay, well, what else can I do? I want to keep going. I want to do more and more. So it's definitely like that.
Yeah. And one Qigong master once told me, he said, 5 minutes of smiling Qigong is better than an hour of frowning. So,
Yes.
so just keep that in mind too. It's better to make it something enjoyable.
Yeah, it's like being a runner or being a bicyclist. Like you do it for fun, and you do it because you love it. And so that's where we want everyone here to be in that kind of an experience, that it's becomes something that is your joy.
Mm.
And it can definitely become that. And when it becomes that, then it feeds you even more. So your relationship with everything becomes more powerful because it is your joy. So.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to step into teaching a little class. And so this is just a little demo of how our classes are. And the little class I'm going to teach is about the history of what you learn here. Just a little taste. We get more into the history and all sort. I mean, we have obviously a lot of classes, so this is just a taste of one of our like 40 days. Is that what we have in the? Yes, 40 days of classes. So you can imagine we get a lot more. But this is just sort of a taste of what we would do in a day. So I'm going to bring up, and we work with a PowerPoint. And so I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint. And slideshow. There we go. Introducing Shamanic Chinese Medicine and Medical Qigong Training. So the problem with medical qigong. Medical qigong used to be a great term to use when we first started teaching this, but medical qigong then other people started to call what they did medical qigong, and it was quite different because it wasn't about energy medicine. It was just about qigong exercises for healing. And so because what we do is so much bigger than that, it's sometimes called energetic Chinese medicine. Um, and it can also be called the shamanic Chinese medicine because it does come from these shamanic roots. And so this is acknowledging the shamanic roots and also the intuitive aspects of Chinese medicine, which we are very much training in this course. So bring out the ability to do your diagnosis, your Chinese diagnostics intuitively, and a lot more than that. Just really to be able to read the people at really the physical, energetic, and spiritual levels. Okay, so shamanism in China is actually prehistoric, and there's a picture of a Chinese shaman. It wasn't like there were borders on the countries, and shamanism kind of stopped at the border of Siberia or Mongolia. It's been very much a part of the Chinese culture, just like all cultures really around the world had we've all come from some very shamanic roots when our ancestors were living in a much closer relationship with nature. And so this is the shamanic aspect that we like to bring back in, is really making this connection once again with nature and with our own intuitive abilities. And so we have this going back, and in China today, there's still a very strong shamanic presence in China and in Taiwan, where there are still temples, very active temples that are dedicated to certain kinds of shamanism. So we're not really one sort of brand of shamanism. We're more Chinese energetic medicine and intuitive medicine. So, yeah, so the roots of Chinese medicine go back to the Yellow Emperor, which is considered to be back over 5,000 years. And so, of course, that is going back into this more ancient times and to the wisdom that's there. Taoism and Taoist concepts could also be spelt with a T, Taoism. And so that's just one way of writing that word, which is actually a character. It's not so much a word. These concepts are based on the wisdom of the ancient Wu and the Wu Yi shamans. And so the ancient character for the Wu, for these shamans, shows two females dancing around a pole or a tree, which is considered to be below them. And there's like a line below and a line above. And so they are connecting heaven and earth. And so a lot of what we do is about connecting heaven and earth. We have the yin of the earth and the yang of the heavens. And these are the great forces that we stand between. And we have yin meridians which flow upward from the earth to the heavens. And we have yang meridians which flow downward from the heavens to the earth. And when we are in balance and we are open to these great flows, our energy becomes very powerful and harmonized. And we have, a lot of well-being and health and vitality. And so this connecting heaven and earth is a great theme for us. And it's also, as you see with John, it's right through all of the Qigong practices. So the Wu shamans were the women, and the Wu Yi was when the males started to become a part of that as well. The deep understanding of reality developed organically from not experiencing oneself as separate from all of life, or from experiencing oneself as connected to all of life. And so a lot of this is this, that what we teach and what we are working with depends on this sense of connection to life at the physical, at the energetic, and at the spiritual level. So we're always working on what we call the three worlds, or the three levels, and seeing how they are integrated and they are inseparable. So the ancients understood that there is nothing that exists outside of the Tao, not the smallest particle or your innermost thoughts. And so this work is about you becoming more connected to all that is. And it is from this kind of an expanded consciousness that we, sort of strive to do the healing work. So that the work that we do of healing isn't coming so much from the personal, but it's tapping into these great forces and being able to bring these through. And so we work in this class to experience this kind of connection. And we do meditations to experience yourself, to be able to experience yourself in this very expanded way, and to know yourself beyond the limits of the physical body, the mind, the emotions, and out into this greater sense. Qigong and Shamanic Chinese medicine are based on the wholeness of the Tao. And so it's striving towards wholeness, which is really just becoming who you are. It's letting go of everything that blocks you so that you can really experience the power of you. To master this form of energy healing is to follow the Tao, the path of spiritual unfoldment. And so, it's amazing who you become after you've done a year, just the beginning, the practitioner training. At the end of the year, you don't really recognize yourself from who you are when you start out the journey. It's really very, very transformational. And that transformation continues through the higher levels of the teaching. So, path of spiritual unfoldment. Yeah, it's a sneaky spiritual path. Why study Qigong healing? Well, Qigong is the most powerful approach to understanding life force energy. And there are so many great stories of Qigong masters and their amazing abilities, amazing healing abilities, which sounds like, whoa, nothing that you could ever do. But you'll find with this that it is amazing how much you are able to actually do this magic. People are saying at the end of the year, it's like, is it as we go in step by step into this, it's like you're waiting, you're just waiting into this new world, which in which you discover the powers and the magic that you have, and that you actually have this, and it's just like no one ever told you. So it's very exciting and wonderful in that way. Through practice, we can develop awareness of the movement of energy, both inside and outside of the body. So you can develop this consciousness of your energy, become much more connected and embodied. And so one of the things that you do is we have meditations that constantly take you into your body. In fact, we're going to be doing one of those. And it's just very important to experience your body, to as your consciousness goes into your body, it heals your body. So if you can bring consciousness into the areas that are problematic, you're bringing healing into those areas. And we start with that in the first year, and then we get into some very powerful, in the second year, powerful methods that we add to that. And you're also, as you see it, of course, inside of yourself, you learn to see it inside of others. We strengthen the immune system and improve organ function. Yes, and we heal and energize ourselves and others. By the way, if you have any questions that come up here, you are welcome to put them into the chat, and we will come to those. So how do we do this? We use breathing techniques, which John is going to lead you through, movement, creative visualization, as well as spiritual intent. So our intention is very much a key. And we look at things as actually originating in the spiritual and then expressing as they come through the energetic and into the physical. We can improve our health, personal power, and learn to live in harmony with the universe. And this comes from living in the universe. So we have a body. So you are, spirit inhabiting a body. And it's more than that. You are in this human experience. And so it is a relationship that's so important. This embodiment, the embodiment of spirit in the body, is key to health and harmony and living in harmony with this universe. So we really work with that to become more embodied. So instead of being, a lot of people in our society are very out of their bodies. And so we have a lot of focus on bringing people into their body. We bring it, we talk about the Shen coming home. And so the spirit is returned to the heart. And the person lives in a different way when you're actually embodied than if you're floating around outside of your body and in your head. This is the study of the great wisdom gathered for medical, martial, and spiritual development by the culture of ancient China. And so, and we're so blessed to have access to this. So we will talk more about that. Like, wow, what we have access to is amazing. Shamanic Chinese medicine uses special techniques to purge, tonify, and balance energy. And John mentioned to you that the Qigong that you were doing, you start off with, you were purging, you were cleansing, and then he brought you into tonifying and balancing. And we do this over and over again. It's clean, and that's like we wash the cup, we fill the cup, and we stir the contents together. So it's a safe and effective way to release toxic pathogens, trapped emotions, and other negative influences that can cause both physical and mental emotional illnesses. And so it's a gentle approach. And yet it's very effective because we're also working at all these different levels. And of course, we get a lot more into that as we go. But the 3 levels, so we're working on these levels, these 3 levels, these 3 worlds, physical level and the physical world, the energetic level, the energetic world, and the spiritual level and spiritual world. In our approach to healing, we always consider and work with all of the 3 worlds. So important. Physical manifestation of illness is considered to be the turbid fruit of a diseased plant or tree. Our work is to find and heal the root causes of the illness. And so we're always going back and looking for, like, what is the deeper cause of what's going on here? We work in different ways. Sometimes we're really working on helping people overcome the manifestations of an illness, the symptomology, and other times, when we can, we go deeper into these root causes. So, but the work that we do always works on the 3 worlds, whichever. So we may focus more on the physical, but it will, because the kind of work we do, it will always be affecting and transforming at all 3 levels. So the energetic plane is both emotional and mental realm and is seen as being directly causal to the physical level of manifested illness. We place a great emphasis on working to understand and release stagnant emotions and the beliefs that trap them. And so those go together. Emotions and beliefs are something that are very linked together. And sometimes, and so in the first year, we don't go as deeply into working on the emotions as we do for yourself. And so you're basically, first year, it's more about your transformation. And then the following years, we get very much into this kind of transformation for others. But we really have to go through that and experience it for ourselves before we're really ready to work on that with someone else at a deep level. The spiritual plane has always been considered to be, and is often called, the causal plane. This means that when you're doing healing work, the root cause is considered to some level to be the spiritual plane. And when healing is only done, say, on the physical and the energetic level, which would be a mental, emotional level, we have released the symptoms, but issues can remanifest. And so sometimes it goes all the way back to the karma that someone comes into this life with, or what are their genetic dispositions? What is that personality that comes in, and what is that personality and that human being looking for when they come into this world? What is it that they are going to be working with? Like, what are the underlying issues that they're working with in this lifetime? And yeah, it's amazing how when we address these things, when we get into those levels, how powerful the transformations can be. In this training, you will learn to heal and transform yourself while you learn to heal and transform others. So that's a class. That's my little mini class. And if there's any maybe questions in the chat right now, I could answer some of those.
Right now, there's nothing.
Okay, well, I guess there was a lot to take in there.
Yeah.
So, but that's just a little taste. And actually, a lot more was crammed in there. So in the classes, that's all slowed down a whole lot. I was making a lot of broad stuff happening there. So we actually just on the history itself, we go into a lot more detail about where it all comes from, and then we talk about the emotions, and like I say, the first year, like the first seminar, is very much about your own transformation. So, yes. And so how did I get into this?
Yeah.
So what's my story on this? So I'll share that with you. So for me, my journey with all this started 37 or 38 years ago. It's been a while. I've been on this path. So I was in a point in my life where I had an opportunity to do something differently. I had kids and I could arrange to actually go on a retreat where I would spend 3 weeks in retreat and 1 week with my kids for a year, because I was breaking up with my husband, and that was a whole thing. But anyway, I had this opportunity to go on this retreat, and in this retreat, it was a 12-hour-a-day practice, and it was basically 24-hour a day, but it was full practice. So very, very powerful. And before I went on this, I had more chronic fatigue, and I had asthma, a lot of lung issues. I'd had pneumonia, I'd had pleurisy, I'd had things like that going on. And I'll tell you, a 12-hour-a-day Qigong practice will heal anything. That'll do it. So, yeah, so that was on Reed Island, where I also lived, which is in the Pacific Northwest. And it was kind of a rustic retreat. If you know Minka DeVos, who's now quite well known for her women's books, and her partner at the time, or her husband actually, Krister Ekstrom, and there were the three of us. And they were already the Qigong teachers, and there was me, so I didn't miss a class. And I had a lot of great coaching. I was extremely blessed. And, it's probably one of the reasons why. And then it was like, that's all I wanted to do. After that, the transformation that I experienced, it was like I got a life. For the first time in my life, I had lots of energy. I had lots of vitality. Before that, I never had that. As a child, I always had I'd had nephritis, I had lots of stuff. So all that gone, and lots of vitality and exuberance. And following that, I went to, because they were doing Mantak Chia's teaching. And so I went to New York. I got my teaching credentials there from Mantak Chia to be a Qigong teacher. And I started teaching seminars like right away. It's like, I'm teaching this, the world's getting this. I I got the higher levels. I went back, got higher levels of certification. I used to go and did a lot of lecturing, a lot of introducing people. People didn't know at that point in time, like, gee, what? Like, oh, that sounds really weird. So and so I was introducing a lot of people to what Qigong was at the time, and gave a lot of weekend kind of workshops and then follow-up workshops and things like that. So I traveled around and taught a lot of those. Back there, especially in the early 90s, I was doing a lot of that. And it was very powerful. Um, and then I came across medical Qigong. It's like, what's that? And Jerry Allen Johnson's work. And it's like, wow, as soon as I came across it, it was boom, that's where I'm going. That's my next thing. I knew it. I just like, that's it. Because I'd been doing healing work, but the two of them hadn't really, gelled together. So the Qigong was different from um, the healing, the acupressure and other cranial, say other kind of healing modalities that I was into at that time, which are all great, but I didn't really have that bridge that brought it all together and that made everything come together and make sense. And so that's one of the things I love about this is that there you step into a holism where everything fits together. It fits together so deeply in this understanding of the elements that you can look at anyone's dream and who knows nothing about this, and you can read that dream and you can find the elements and you can find all these components that are there. It kind of blew me away. It's like when I first discovered that, it's like, wait a minute, that's I had a little girl that I was working with who was anorexic, and her hair was falling out, and all sorts of terrible things were happening to her. And yes, somehow I'm getting a little story about that. But anyway, so what I was taking her through some inner visualizations that, to look at the heart, to look at the spleen, and especially the stomach, because, what's going on with the stomach. And all of her visuals that I had her do were just like what we teach. And it's like, this is pretty amazing. She saw her stomach as being this this hill, and it was like covered in dry golden grass, just like earth and this grass, and there was like this fire in it that it was getting, all this stuff was getting stuffed in, like this fire that was out of control fire going on in her stomach. And I was like, whoa. And actually, what we did wasn't, it ended her anorexia, her stomach started to be okay again. And it's like, well, what happened here is like and I had her read what they were putting into the fire, and it was all papers. It was all of her thoughts and all of her worries were getting put into this fire. And it was like too much. They were having to shovel. There were so many of them, they were having to shovel, and it was worries. And it's like, well, wait a minute. This was the written down worries. And, we are like, the stomach is worry. That's what's going on there. And she had this imagery that was just so right on. And then it's like, well, I think that you should take all these worries up to the heart, up to, what does that look like? Oh, it looks like a castle and there's a king and queen there. It's like, oh my goodness. And where are they going to go? There's a big fireplace, it's like, and you can be with the king and queen. Anyway, it was, and then she was happy she could take her worries there instead of into her stomach. And, we worked with that until we got that balance back out. But this is all pretty amazing. And as I go along, I discover these things and I add them to the teachings. And so this teaching is so amazing. So anyway, back to my story, like off track there. I came into this work at the time. Dr. Johnson hadn't written this series of books. And so I was working with him. We camped on his floor, and And he had a dojo in his garage and he was teaching in there. And there were like a group of like a dozen of us who were in there, writing down the notes. And we, worked together afterwards to exchange our notes, make sure that we got it all covered. And he had higher level students who would come in and we'd like do a clinic with the higher level students and things like that. But it was pretty remarkable to get to have that small of a class to go through with. And when I came, when I graduated from his teaching, I decided, well, I just really want to do this. I'm already teaching all this other Taoist stuff. I'm just going to do that. And if I don't have someone who, someone's going to have to has to come to my door, knock on my door and tell me they've got a class all ready for me to teach before I'm going to teach any of this to the world, because I'm already busy. I already got a lot going on. And so, of course, a couple of years later, someone comes and knocks on my door. And she says, "Are you Wendy Lang? My name was in the back of his first book, which was this giant book that he made. So my name was in the back of there, and she found me, and she actually lived really close by. Are you Wendy Lang? I have this group of people who want to learn." It's like, oh no, I know that's exactly what I said. That was this is what I told the universe, and so I was busted. And so at that point I started teaching. It's like, okay, I got to do this. So that's how I started teaching. And then that was great. And then I started teaching. Another friend of mine was like, you got to teach this in Canada. So I started teaching in Canada, in Victoria. She brought me up, Noelle Taylor. And so I started teaching there. And it was interesting as the teachings went along. We bringing in more of the intuitive, because I'm also, was also teaching, doing channeling and teaching channeling. And that was my intuitive abilities developed, because with this work, you're meant to be intuitive. And so you're meant to be intuitive, but it doesn't really give you the steps to become intuitive. And so I really felt a need to develop that, to make that more accessible for my students as I learned it, because it's often presented to you as you're going to start to see things and hear things. And it was like, nah, I'm not seeing and hearing things. And John and I, we both have had those things anyway. So yeah, what's her name? Anyway, so I developed certain things. And one of the things that also happened was that new books came out, and there was a page in there that I loved. It was called Healing Magic Gloves. And I thought, well, that's a really weird name. Magic Gloves, kind of hokey name, but whatever. I really liked the idea, because it was putting on these gloves, and there was a whole thing that you said, and the gloves came over your hands, and then you just let divine take over and do the work. And then, I'm working on the classes, and I want to take a picture of that. And I go back and I can't find it. It's like, and so I called up Dr. Johnson and said, well, where in the book, the new books, is the magic gloves? And he's like, I don't know about magic gloves. It's like, well, yes, and I told him the pages it was between. It was right between this page and this page. And he says, not in my book. And sort of like, well, if you've got that, you better teach it. So the magic, so there are certain things that I teach that some of the other teachers don't teach, but they've all come through in these kind of crazy ways. And yeah, I had another one like that recently. It's like, wait a minute. So anyway, so that bringing that up to current times when we love teaching. So it's really been my path. And John.
Well, my path is a little bit shorter than Wendy's, because Wendy was my teacher. So I started 15 years ago working with Wendy in the practitioner level. But before that, I was a movement-based arts-based expressive art therapist. So using the arts as a therapeutic tool that I did for a long time, but it felt like there was something missing from that. So I was looking for something more. And I also was working with Minka DeVos, that Wendy mentioned, that she learned from. And we were co-chairing a festival, and the festival, well, as we were co-chairing that, she was trying to help Wendy with her classes to get people to come into her classes. And she said, well, you kind of know people that are similar fields that I am in. And so she gave me some handouts and said, could you send these out to people? And I grabbed a hold of it and was funny because as soon as I touched it, I went, oh, me. I'm one of those people. I need to take this course. So, and over time, I've learned that that voice is a voice that I trust when I get these strong intuitions. I trust that voice because it usually doesn't lead me wrong. I've had that happen a few times in different ways. I had that happen with meeting my partner and everything. So all those things, I go, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to trust that voice. So, so I took the course with Wendy, and it was because I also had some health issues. Mine were mostly in the digestive nature, which were very confounding to Western medicine, which later I learned were a lot more emotional based, but they were showing up as physical symptoms. In the digestive tract, for example, I would take a glass of water and my heartburn would get worse. And I was like, okay, that should dilute the acid. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. So there was lots of things they were considering, including heavy pharmaceuticals and surgery. And I was like, wait a minute, there's more here. I have to look at this from a different perspective. And I found that 5 Yang exercise, the one that we did earlier where we were lifting the arms and dropping, I did that exercise. And I did that about 250 times, once or twice a day for 2 weeks. And after a week, I started to notice, something's different here. And after 2 weeks, I go, wait a minute, I'm not having any of those symptoms anymore. I'm feeling more alive and I really want to find out more. And that's when I end up taking the class with Wendy because I had that exercise. I got that exercise from Minka or someone else. I can't remember who before. So I've continued to study and I was so excited about it. So I started teaching, like I said before, I finished the first year, and I was really excited to share that mainly with friends and family that also had issues with health that I could try to support them. And over time, I've been blessed to be able to co-teach with Wendy. This was our 7th year doing this first year program, and I'm very excited to be a part of that. And it's going to be my 2nd year teaching the 2nd year students with her. So this is very exciting to expand that a little further. So that's kind of the short version of my story. Other things will come up during the course. But yeah, so give you a sense of who I am. And Wendy, there was some questions in the chat that you
Right.
might
I was
want
going to
to
say, and things are more fun with John. Life is more fun with John. I love having the two of us. We talk back and forth. It's just really adds this whole other life to the course. So it's very fun having John as my co-teacher.
Well, thank you.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. You did have some questions come up. Oh, but okay. The karmic understand though. There's an agreement for healing and facilitating healing, but I'm aware that some soul healing or energy become unwell, age quickly. So this is the wonderful thing about this is that we are a combination of Qigong. And so we have this very big focus on groundedness. And that underlies everything we do. You start from health and vitality. And you want to have that. Even when I teach channeling classes, we are grounded. We do roots in the ground. I do not teach channeling where we just go up there and we're just like up here stuff. No, everything I do has a base in groundedness. And that's what makes the difference. And there's no shortcutting on the the chakras, like, oh, only the upper ones. It's this really looking at coming from this a much deeper, whole, healthy perspective in everything we do. And when we're looking at
And
karma,
Wendy, can I just expand on that real quick? That's why you'll learn something called the Taoist 10-step
yeah,
meditation, which is a 1 through 10. This is actually one of the things I didn't mention in my little check-in that that's one of the things that brought me to the course too, because I was concerned about that too. I wanted to work from a level of safety.
yeah,
Because, and my concern was mainly for other people, not for me. I was more concerned about, oh, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. I don't want to be dropping that into anybody else's energetic field. So, um, but I was very excited to hear that there's this whole procedure that was very much about setting up the energies so that it works in conjunction for everyone, for the best of all. And we add something called 3 invocations, which are adding these levels of having guides, guardians, and angels be with us, be with the person you're going to be working with, and the space that you're going to be working with. So everything is always worked within the highest intent for the highest good of all. And that was actually the thing that made me sign the dotted line because I knew that this was a serious program. We want to support others, but we want to do it from a very grounded but also energized, supported way. Yeah.
yeah. We do both grounding into the earth, um, bring it, connecting to the heavens, being in your body, and then calling in these higher forces that can bring in this other level of healing. And we just do this over and over again before every session.
Hmm.
No shortcut. We do that each time. And so, yes. And I was going to say about the karma, when I said about the spiritual level, and so why is this happening to this person? And we'd just like to see it. And we're not saying it's wrong. We're not trying to get rid of anyone's karma. We're only looking at that as, what did you come here for? Like, what brought you to the earth plane? What was it? How did your soul want to grow? So that's how we look at that. And who is Dr. Johnson? Well, there's like 5 of these. That's the first one. So, and I have them in stock. So you get to order these when you're ready. Not the first seminar, you don't need them, but after that, it's highly recommended that you get your books because they're amazing. These books are amazing. They're magical. They're full of, incredible information. Like these volumes. He has a ton more books. I mean, as someone that every time I go visit him, he's like writing, not writing, but writing. He's always writing something new. He's a writeaholic, I have to say. But anyway, it works for us. We are the great beneficiaries of his desire to keep writing. So,
And and also he's kind of the most Western
oh yeah.
highest um, regarded Western person who actually did study in China. He was there for quite a while, learning, and all this knowledge that's in these books is gained through
Mm-hmm.
that in working with all these doctors in what they actually had medical Qigong hospitals. They actually had hospitals in China that were medical Qigong that they could go to, and he learned all this stuff, and that's why he's constantly writing because he would write things and keep some of the shamanic stuff out, and then afterwards he realized that needed to be in. So then there's another layer of books. So
Yeah,
he is quite well versed in all of this, and he brought it back to the West.
yeah, he's pretty amazing. Yeah,
And
we're
Wendy got to study with
very,
him directly. That was her teacher.
yeah, and we're just so blessed to have him and to have everything he's passed on. And yes, from these hospitals. These were amazing hospitals, and unfortunately, because of the conflict between certain factions of Qigong and the Chinese government, that all of those hospitals were shut down kind of overnight. It was actually Falun Gong, and a lot of them got hauled off. And of course, that was a whole disaster. But it was a disaster really for the whole Qigong community, and it hasn't come back. And I've spoken at conferences and things, and the people in China now don't even know the word Qigong because it was eliminated, and they want to know from me about, can you tell us more about Qigong? They'll call it like spring forest energy, or they have these other words to kind of try and describe what it is because it's so important. So at some point, I'm sure that will change again, and it'll come back. But at the moment, it's still in the back room. Okay, so what I was saying about dreams. So I was just trying to say that the five elements is such an amazing system that you can find it in people's dreams who have no idea about five elements. So that's what I was saying about that. Where did the channeling and mediumship training? Oh, so mine really came from um, Oren and Da Ben's work. So that was the channeling, Opening to Channel, very famous book by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer, which I was teaching with my late husband back in the mid '90s, and so we were teaching that, and the mediumship just comes along with it. When you start doing healing work and you're doing it on people, you start to have more people, popping in. And so I teach both of those. And I teach it, again, like I say, from this very grounded way. So you just don't sit there and wait for a voice to come and talk to you. No, we get grounded and then we go very high so that we connect to high guides. And so we know who high guides are, high beings, unmistakably high guides. And I can transmit the energies that open up those portals so that can happen. And so when you feel high guides, there's no mistaking that. And lower guides, all of a sudden, that's not a high guide. And also when you want to work with the dead, with the mediumship, you also know that that's not a guide. And so we never just stop and just listen for voices. And unless you've got to start. So I start with people doing the channeling where they get into those higher states of consciousness so that they know what that feels like. And so there's no mistaking. So that's where that comes from. Okay, and I like this one. I'm very intuitive and sensitive to energy and information. How can I stay balanced? See, again, this is when opening these portals. So yes, it's in this groundedness. And yeah, so we do that. That's what we specialize in. So yes, seeing through the veil from a grounded place. Yes, that's what we want. So Kyla, thank you.
Thanks, Kayla.
Hey, so
Kayla, excuse me.
Naomi, I have so yes, you have a daily transcendental meditation practice. That's great. Yes. They always advise against doing other types of meditation. And oh yeah, of course, and TM together. But I never been sure about what these. I'm,
Never sure about the implications really are, and do you have any
right.
wisdom about
Okay.
that?
Yeah, I have TM people come and do this class. Longtime TM people, like 50-year TM people, have come and done this class, and definitely they love it. It does not interfere with their TM practice in any way. And they give healing sessions to their other TM teachers and friends and everything else. So there's really no conflict there.
In fact, it's actually quite supportive.
Oh, yes. Okay. Why go to the high guides instead of straight to God? So, um, so the guides are here to guide us. And if you can feel like you're going straight to God, like I like that myself too, um, for my own self. I can have that. Some things I check in on, like kind of a daily thing. I check in with my God voice too. But then when I'm working, I'm doing more channeling for people, and and there's no conflict between those voices, but one is they're just more tuned in different ways. And so the guides are an aspect of the divine. There isn't anything that's apart from what you would call God or the Tao, or heaven, but they're aspects that are more specialized. And so, the guide, your high guide, is very specialized on working with you. And just like someone else's guide is specialized on working with them, like that's what they do, that's like the focus, and that is an aspect of the divine. Are the high guides always different, or do you start to know and recognize them? Each person has different experiences with this. I have teaching channeling next week, like beginning channeling class. There's a four seminar set. So I have that come up often in the, yeah, I have that often come up, and then I talk a lot about that. And so some people always have the same guide, or I always have a group of guides, but that can change. And sometimes for a certain situation, I get a different guide, and I know because the
Yeah.
energy is different, the voice is different, and it's like, oh, that was fun.
I've actually had situations where I start out with one guide. I go, "Oh, this is my guide," and then that guide passes me over to these ones, and I felt a physical passing over. I've graduated to these three, and now it's a group, and then so I have all kinds of different situations, and now I have some that come in just sometimes. I go, "Ooh, you're important. I know something's going to happen here because this guide I only see on certain occasions." So yeah,
Yeah,
so they can be quite unique to situations.
yeah. And then the next, you offer individual. Yes, I do offer channeling and mediumship appointments. So yes, it's something that I do. I think I had 3 of those yesterday. So, or at least they're part of the session. So they're not, it'll come in, and for me, and it'll be like, well, if there's somebody here and they want to talk, they're going to, that's very important that happens. And the amount of healing that can come in through mediumship when someone has passed, and, you can that you can actually clear things up, and, mistakes and things you know, after that life is over, and, actually get a lot more clarity and healing with the person than even when they're alive at times. So,
Hmm.
yes. Okay. So,
Thanks for all the questions, everyone. Thank you.
yes. Yeah. Okay. And so one of the things that we like to emphasize about this work is that it's not attached to a belief system. So we're not ever expecting you to believe something. So there's no belief involved. It's all through your own personal experience. Even like with the channeling, like that's your experience. You know, we can lead you to these places and transmit energies so that you can have experiences. And then your experience is uniquely yours. And what you take away from that is yours. And so I like a little demo that I do, and that's around like how we teach. We teach through experience. And anything else, like just, I mean, it's good to have a belief that I'm going to get, I'm going to evolve, I'm going to, certain kinds of beliefs, but we don't have like a religious belief, or I'm going to believe in this being or that being, or, it's your experience, because nothing else really, we don't want you to be in anything else. So, all right, so we have a little experience here. So rub your hands together. Okay, a little chi experience. Okay, and then we just do like that standard little one about, oh, feel the energy between your hands. Okay, feel this energy between our hands. Now we'll do something a little bit different with that energy. So let's just intend to send some healing energy from our right hand to our left hand. So just intend a little da-da-da, just a little healing energy going over there to your left hand. You might just feel a little something in your left hand when you do that. It's like, oh, okay, maybe a little tingle or something. Okay, now let's just change that. Let's send red energy. Like, let's just make it red. We're just going to change the color. Okay. Wow. it's something happened. There's a shift maybe in your experience. I don't know whether you experienced that or not, but I'm just saying, for me, there's a shift. Okay, and from red, I'm going to change it. Let's make it blue. Okay. You don't have to do anything. Well, we'll see. So it's just like blue. I'm not a great visualizer, so it's not like I had to go visualize a bunch of blue. But now we're going to make it golden, but you're going to try really hard. So this is complex. So sending golden energy, you have to really try hard. You got to see gold. And then you got to like really move that energy from your right hand to your left hand. So you got to really try and make that happen. Like, let's really try hard. Anything happening in your left hand? Okay, let's stop trying. Okay, stop trying. Okay, now let's just intend golden energy to go to the left hand. Just intend it. Don't worry about it. Don't make it happen. Just kind of like, meh. It's just okay. It's there. Okay. And what other one can we send? Green. We'll send some green. Green's always an interesting energy. That's more associated with the wood element, little wood element to the left hand. Okay. And then just send a big thank you to the left hand for being such a good sport. Thanks, left hand. You're a good sport there in that demo. Okay, and let your left hand say, well, thank you, right hand, and send some thank you back into that right hand too. Okay, so there our hands are all back and happy. So, whatever you may or may not have experienced, it's yours. And you can play with that in the future. If you didn't experience anything, you go back and play with it. But it's yours. You have that experience. In the classes, you'd be going in and you'd be like sharing your experience with someone else and seeing how other people experience it. And there's no right and wrong, and there's no good and bad. There's no, anything like that. We're just supporting you on your journey into this world as you go into this world of energy healing. So
I also want to add that think about this is, when we're growing up, we have to learn to first, you have to learn how to crawl. First, you have to learn how to get your head up, and then you have to crawl, and you have to find a way to stand up, and then you learn to maybe run, all those things. So this is a little bit like that because I remember at the beginning when she alluded to it and say a little bit more about how at the beginning I was like, nothing. I'm not getting anything here.
yeah,
So, but over time, that's why I said curiosity. When you're curious, you start to get curious about that, and you realize, like Wendy said, it's not about trying. I was like, I'm going to put that energy over there, and I'm really going to help that situation. It's about relaxing and allowing the energy to flow, and then you start to realize the level of chi that can move when you're in that more relaxed state. So it does get easier and easier. So if you're not one that senses these kind of things, it will develop, I can promise you. And
yeah,
you become the best teachers, by the way, because it took a while for you to get it.
yeah, yeah. That was about getting out of your own way.
Yeah,
We tend to get in our own way. It's sort of like, oh, I really want to make this work, and then that gets in your way of what could actually be there. And that is how easy. It's more about getting out of your way than doing a lot of these things.
right.
So they happen when you're more out of your way. And that's a lot of the class. Meditations are all about getting out of your own way, along with getting into your own energy fields. So it's a very wonderful mix, and the way that's been put together. And of course, this course was set out by Dr. Johnson, who wrote all these books. So he has created the syllabus for this in a way that really facilitates this learning experience. Okay, well, I think that we're going to take a 5-minute break and then coming back into some breathing practice with John. So, what time is it?
It's 10:32 Pacific, so
So 37.
37.
5 minutes. Just because we're going to have a meditation and breathing, and you may need to use the bathroom. So
Right.
a little break.
So I may pause my recording for a few minutes.
Yeah, practice.
Hey, yeah. So before we get started with the breathing practice, we're going to do it. We'll actually do that from a standing position. I just real briefly, I want to just mention a few things. We kind of live in a culture that doesn't breathe deeply. There's a lot of stress, a lot of tension, and we do a lot. You have a lot of people that you'll come into contact, and maybe it's even you that breathe only in the chest. Now, if you're breathing only in the chest, that means that's considered what we call the fight or flight breath. So it keeps you always on guard. You're not able to get the muscles moving, the diaphragm in particular, so we can get more chi into the lower abdomen. So we want to show you a few ways to breathe to kind of get some more energy deeper into the body, so the chi, the life force energy, can flow a little better through your body. So you're not stuck in that high arousal state. So let's find a place to stand and we'll do some breathing practice. Okay. So just feel a nice upright posture, get a sense of that. And we're just going to start for a moment to get a sense of where we are now. So bring one hand on top of the other to the navel. And we're going to only breathe with our nose for this. So let your tongue rest again, once again, behind the upper front teeth. Just take the tip of your tongue, put it behind the upper front teeth, close the mouth. And let's just do some nose breathing and just see how it is without any judgment. Let's just put our hands here and see if you can feel a little bit of movement as you inhale, and let it moving out, as I should say, when you inhale, and then relaxing as you exhale. Not trying to force anything, not trying to change anything, but just see how you breathe right now. Is there a little bit of expansion here as you breathe? So it's a way to kind of get a sense of where you're at this moment. So the idea is we want to open this diaphragm. The diaphragm is this beautiful 360-degree muscle that goes all the way around the body. And we want it to, as you fill your lungs, we want it to move down to send the chi into this area. And as you exhale, the abdomen relaxes and it sends that energy up and out. So we're just checking to see how that is now. Are we more breathing here or are we more breathing here? And just check in with the side body here. So place your hands, fingers in front, thumbs behind, so you're kind of just holding your waist. Just see if you can get a sense of breathing out to the side. How that is, if you're getting any sideward movement, which means the side part of the diaphragm is starting to be more used and more open. It expands as you inhale and collapse a little bit on the exhale. And if it's not happening, that's okay. Just getting a sense of that now. This is all information. That's the thing. We just want to learn a little bit about how are we breathing now. And then bring your hands to your lower back. So place your palms here. If that's awkward for you, feel free to use the backs of your hands or just kind of bring your thumbs around a little bit more. I'm going to use my palms, place them on the lower back. And let's just see, this one's usually the most challenging. See if there's any breath going into your kidneys right now. So as you breathe, see if you can get a sense of expanding of the lower back. Good. And one way to help support that is breathe in and drop your tailbone as you inhale. Let it kind of just do a little pelvic roll here. And that will help to open up the back. And then exhale, let it just roll back into place. You inhale, you drop the tailbone. Exhale, let it just roll back into place. A little pelvic roll here to help support that breath into the kidneys. And just see if that's a possibility for you. Good. And then place one hand at the navel and one hand at the chest. And let's just see if we can get a sense of what we call wave breathing or full abdominal breathing. It's sometimes called like full vase breathing, like you're filling up a vase. See if you can get a sense that there's a little movement going, filling up here, and then a sense of it rolling up to the top of the lungs. And then on the exhale starts up here and goes until this abdomen can relax. Like a gentle little wave going up and down. That's the breath that we want to ultimately get to for most of our day, because that's called the relaxing breath. They call it sometimes rest and digest breath. It allows the digestion to work better, allows the mind to rest, the nerves to calm, the immune system to work at its highest potential. All this can work better when we're breathing in this nice, easy pattern. So if you're not getting that, we want to loosen up the diaphragm. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to first talk about it, demonstrate it, and then we'll try it together. So Wendy and I have this idea of how we can loosen up this muscle. So one way that we can do that is almost like we can energetically massage this muscle. You can think of the muscle with the breath coming down and massaging each part of the muscle. So we have all different areas which could be blocked. So we want to make sure that we're opening up all of them as best we can. So the way we do that is we bring our hands to our waist and we hold the waist steady. So we're going to make circles with our shoulders, and you can just watch for a moment as I demonstrate this. So we're going to be moving our shoulders, but we're not moving our waist. So we're not doing some woohoo, we're not doing any hip circles and stuff. We're keeping this area settled, but we want to move the shoulders. And as we move that, before we do that, we're going to take a big breath into the chest. We've been talking about breathing down here, but we want to breathe into the chest. And as you do, we're going to do a little bearing down so we can create some pressure that pushes down on that muscle. And as we create that pressure, we're going to rotate the shoulders around like you're coming around the whole diaphragm to loosen up the areas where there might be more tension. So let's try that together. So hands at the waist. I'm going to invite you to take a breath into your lungs. Really charge up that chest. When you nice fill up, hold that breath and slowly circle your shoulders around in a circle and get a sense of bearing down, push down on that muscle right there between the chest and the abdomen. And when you need to exhale, just let it go. Kind of like a workout. It's a breathing workout here. You're really trying to bear down on that. So let's try that again. Take a breath in, filling only the chest, and then push down, bear down, and circle the opposite way. Slow circles, and just get a sense of kind of moving through all the different areas of that muscle, bearing down, really push down with your breath, and then exhale as you need to. Good. Good. Let's try that again. Breathe in, fill the lungs. Bear down, circle the original way. And if you find some areas that are really stuck, you may want to just kind of go back and forth. Like maybe my right side, I want to work with that. Maybe it's behind. You want to go back and forth, almost like a bottle brush movement. And exhale as you need to. And one more time, filling the lungs. Really charge them up with breath. Fill them physically up with breath. Bear down and circle the opposite way that you just did. And just kind of play with those areas where you're feeling tension, just pushing down. Good. And exhale. Good. Bring one hand back to the chest and one hand back to the navel. Let your tongue rest behind the upper front teeth. Breathe with the nose. Just see if this is a little bit easier. If it's a little bit easier to create the sense of filling up, like you're filling up a glass of water and it just kind of fills all the way to the top. Rolls up and then exhale, let it roll back down. Just see if you can find a sense of ease with this breath that maybe is a little bit less challenging than it was before. It just wants to flow. Good. All right, very nice. Let's try that loosening up the diaphragm one more time. So bring your hands down here at the waist. Of course, we'll go in like everything, we go in a little more detail in the course. We'll just give you a taste of it today. So let's take a breath into the lungs. Really fill them up. Bear down on that diaphragm, on that muscle there, and circle the shoulders. Nice and slow. Hips are staying stationary. Kind of just moving around, finding the areas where it might be sticky and stuck. And exhale. Good. Breathe in again. Fill those lungs. Really bear down on that. Go the other way. Kind of find those areas of stagnation. Stagnation is just stuck energy. And kind of play with that. Like an energetic massage, and then release it. Good. And inhale. Fill the lungs. Bear down. And circle. Pick your own direction. Whatever one feels more supportive right now. So the rib cage is moving, the chest is moving, the shoulders are moving, but the hips are stationary. And exhale. And one last time. Breathe in the lungs. Get them nice and full. Push down, bear down, and circle. Play with loosening up this area, this muscle, so we can get and let it go. Good. And then one more time. Hand on chest, hand on belly. Good. Few deep breaths. Just notice that that's a little bit easier as you breathe in and out through the nose. You could always play with that longer. That's a great way to break up tension. And tension can come in many forms, because tension can be, I don't want to feel this, so I'm keeping this really tight so that I can just breathe more shallow because it's too scary to go down here. There's a lot of fear, a lot of worry. And for many different reasons, it can be for all the different things that can happen in our lives that can create not wanting to connect with the energy of the earth, not wanting to connect with our center core. So if you do this breath, it's also going to require you to feel it, to move through those areas where you're stuck and blocked, so that you can have more fullness in your life. Good. All right, and then bring your hands back to the navel. Continue to breathe and see if you can feel a little bit more expansion here than we did the first time. And let's try a little bit on the side. This time, let's push in and see if you can actually push the hands out as you inhale. So that's also going to exercise this diaphragm on the left and right side. And then re-engage the hands to help you with the exhalation. Push the hands out with your inhalation, re-engage the hands to help with the exhalation. Really get to start to power up that breath. And then hands back on the lower back, either front palms or backs of the hands or just the thumbs around. Take a breath in and drop your tailbone. Exhale, let it roll back. And just see if you can get if this experience is a little bit easier, more expansion into those kidneys. Into that lower back, opening up the back part of the diaphragm. Inhale, drop the tailbone. Exhale, let it roll back into place. Slight pelvic rock. And of course, if any of this is really challenging, a great way to practice this is lying down. Lie on a yoga mat, lie in your bed, lie on a couch, and just bring your hands here and just kind of start to play with your breath, inviting breath to come in deeper into the body. Good. All right, then bring one hand on top of the other over the navel. Let your feet come a little bit closer together. Let's lock that in with 9 rubs of the belly in one direction, whichever way you'd like to start. And do 9 more in the opposite. Good. Just getting a sense of supporting yourself and your breath. Good. Good. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, well, I think I'm actually going to get into our share again with our PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you, John. That was awesome. Yeah. So, more information about this practitioner training. So the training is presented in a series of 4 seminars that are held online through Zoom. And we used to all be in person in Vancouver, and sometimes here. I'm in California, and we also had them here in California. And we have really loved the online. It's amazing. It allows people from all over the world to come together, and it works really well. And there's a big emphasis on the distant therapy, and it just works. It just works really well. So each seminar is actually 10 days, and those are divided into 2. And so we have a 5-day Part A segment and a 5-day Part B segment. So we have P1A and P1B, and the same P2A and B, 3A and B, 4A and B. All 5-day seminar segments run Wednesday through Sunday, and the workshop hours are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time each of those days. And it completes in June with a 3-day online clinic for the general public, which is also on Zoom. The classes are all recorded, and they're made available to students at no extra charge following each of those segments. So you always get to go back, and if you miss some or you miss a day or a few days, then it's always possible for you to catch up. Here is our class schedule. So you can see that, and it's on the website, September 24, 28, November. So we have September, November, December, January, February, March, April, and May, and June. So we kind of go throughout the year. And the clinic is full days only in North America, or whoever we have in the Americas. So that can be full days. And then because we have our feedback and our discussing the treatments that we gave in the clinic together is done in the afternoon, but for Europe we do that the following morning, our time, which is before the class. So we get on there early, so there's a chance also for those in Europe to catch up. Origins of the training. So this is based on the original teachings from the Haidan and Shiyuan hospitals of traditional Chinese medicine and medical Qigong in Beijing, China, which drew from the ancient knowledge of the Chinese Qigong masters. So they gathered this knowledge, and these had often be the lineage secrets. And so they brought them all together, and this was before the Cultural Revolution. This was in the 50s. They brought them all together, and it's like, share your knowledge. Like you gotta share this stuff. So that was a huge breakthrough, was this letting go of these lineage secrets and sharing. This was all introduced to the West by Dr. Jerry Allen Johnson, who's the one I worked with, and the International Institute of Medical Qigong, which is no longer there, but the syllabus that we follow and is considered to be like the syllabus that one would follow for a medical Qigong course. And we now have this as a 5-volume series called Chinese Energetic. These books are called Chinese Energetic Medicine. And we use these books and work from the syllabus of the International Institute of Medical Qigong, the most highly regarded program of its kind. And I've been studying with Dr. Johnson since 1998, and before the books were written. And I began to teach the Universal Healing Tao Qigong seminars in '89, and the IIMQ Medical Qigong seminars in 2003. So our courses, just want to go through these. Seminar 1 is to Introduction, the Taoist 5 Qigong series. So you learn the full series that John has just started you on. More basic breath training. We have emotional detoxification practices, and this is sounds, therapy, and treatment, but other methods of emotional detoxification. Microcosmic orbit is something that you learn in the first seminar. Grounding meditations and exercises, and establishing your own personal medical Qigong workout, and a whole lot more. You learn there's all the information on the 5 elements, and we really go deeply into a very expanded version of that, like to really expand on what those elements are all about and how they tie into all of life. So there's a lot more, but that's just a snippet. And then we go into diagnosis and treatment. So that was to take care of you. The first segment's all about you. And then the second one, developing energetic sensitivity and perception skills. Woo, yes. Yeah, and it's amazing. It works at a distance. So at a distance, we have surrogates. We send out these inflatable bodies. They're not, they're not sexually explicit. They're just like kind of a body. It's very basic. And so we work on these. Those are the surrogates that we work on. So you have a table and you work on this when you're working on a partner. So there's a lot of partner treatments going back and forth. And you get used to it, and you get used to the fact that it works. But then that's for you to experience. But people you really can't grasp that until you get that. So energy, projection skills, meeting healing masters. We have a day where we bring up some possible beings, high beings to connect with. And so we do that to when we're calling upon guides, guardians, angels, and who's actually there. So that's kind of a who is there. General treatment protocol with distance therapy. So you're learning a protocol in the seminar 2. And then we also add to that magic gloves treatment. And we also go into understanding the emotional roots and causes of illnesses. We do meditations to release blockages. Oh, lots of meditation. Seminar 2 is full of meditations. Meditation to understand the relationship of body, energy, emotions, mind, and spirit. Really to understand, but to experience these relationships. Intuitive development. And we start into magic circles. So that's a big piece of the intuition aspect. Very powerful. Seminar 3, clinical foundations. With the 3 realms of ancient Taoist mysticism. And the ancient Taoist is before religion. So it's not Taoist religion. It's more basic mysticism, you could say. We learn to create ball healing, gathering plant essences from nature. So this is fun. You go in and you don't take any part of the plant. You connect to the energy of the plant and bring it into an actual physical essence. You create personal talismans by transforming their energy and putting energy, and goes back to the energy balls. Materializing, dematerializing energy, beginning a healing practice. Just topics, Qi healing methods, including We learn invisible needles, energetic point therapy, thunder palms, flying dragon, a whole lot of other energy sending techniques or energy work techniques. You learn Qi self-massage, which is fun. Color therapy, these are all fun. It's all wonderful to do. And clinical practice. So that's your first time that you'd be working on a live person. We have you bring in a person to work on. In our fourth seminar, Introduction to Disease Treatment Protocols and Energetic Prescriptions, treatment of organ diseases and specific conditions. So now we're kind of getting recipes. So, and you're just learning more ways of working with people. We also work with animals here, which is always lovely and fun. Animals are beautiful spirits to work with. More of a focus onto healing sound therapy, which we actually get into in the first seminar also, doing a sound therapy session. How to work with death and dying. Introduction to the clinics again. So working with someone for a clinical exam, practical exam. These are all not difficult. We just want you to show up and give it a shot. And hopefully graduation celebration. You've made it through the year and had a great transformation in the process. And so all classes are on Zoom. And how does this work? Exercises, lectures, meditation, etc. easily work on Zoom. We send you this inflatable life-size body to use during the training. It's nice to have a massage table, but not necessary until P3B when you're required to find a live volunteer to work on. Students will be exchanging sessions with partners, rotating through the class at a distance. And this is, some people say that of all the things that blew their minds during the training, that was the biggest. They just couldn't get over how the distance stuff works. It's like, it really works. And the big clinic at the end of the year is also, of course, a distance clinic. And the only thing that isn't distance is seminar 12 when we do that one in person, just because it needs to be in person. But that's the last seminar and everybody wants to come together. So, but you can also do it if necessary at a distance. So the textbooks, all students are provided with highly informative handouts, as well as a copy of the class PowerPoint as a PDF following the seminar, or sometimes before the seminar. The handouts are certainly before the seminar. And I get a lot of requests for the PowerPoint PDF, so I've been giving that out too. Textbooks are not required for seminar 1, but highly recommended and are a huge asset throughout the practitioner training. And really, we think they should be required beyond seminar 2. You can order the books on the website and they will be shipped out. Practice, homework, and exams. This class is life-changing, and practicing the exercises, meditations, and session work is the foundation for that transformation. And we suggest an hour per day. We will be setting up support groups and our mentors to keep the energy going between classes. And we do this as WhatsApp groups. And we found that this WhatsApp group is awesome. And it's like, I just found out that one of my WhatsApp group practitioners have organized themselves into doing called it the Ren Wuzong meditation together for 100 days. It's like, what, you guys just did that all on your own? Yeah, they love it. And they're having all these great experiences. This is last year's class. It's summer and they're still, because it's, you walk into this magical world and then you want to have others to share your magical world with. There are homework exams following each seminar. There's an opportunity to review what was taught and assimilate the information and practices. And you can do this with your group. So you all want to get together and do your exams together. We're totally fine with that. At the end of the 4th seminar, there's a practical and written exam. We will have already been watching our students work throughout the year, so no worries, and you'll be 100% prepared. We're proud that all of our students have passed. If they took it, they passed. So that's how that works. Certification levels, Empty Mountain, complete all courses the clinic and your homework exams and the final exam, and you get your practitioner certificate. For shamanic Chinese medicine, you also need to have the channeling, which makes it shamanic Chinese medicine. The International Institute of Qigong and Shamanic Chinese Medicine, you need to have another 48 hours of clinical externship on your own outside of the classroom. And then the same with the shamanic Chinese medicine. It's just that we also need to have the channeling as part of that. And there's different requirements at all the levels to have all of these different levels, but this is for the practitioner. And we have the practitioner program, 4 seminars, complete in 1 year, therapist program, 4 seminars, along with TCM, 50 hours if you don't have it already, anatomy and physiology, 100 hours if you don't have it already. And it's completed over 2 years, but you can double it up with the master's program to make it more of a flow. So master's program is 4 seminars and can overlap with the second part of the therapist or the first part of the therapist. So you can do 2, every year you can do 2 therapists and 2 masters. Plus other requirements completed over 2 years. Or you can take 4 years to do the whole thing. Doctoral program is 6 seminars, includes writing a dissertation, courses completed over 3 years. Currently not scheduled, and I'm not sure when and if I'm going to do that one again, but there may be others out there who offer that. Just really think about getting through the masters, and then I'm also looking at doing house clearing. There's some other things that really interest me a lot that I'd like to also offer, which I get all sorts of people wanting. So that's especially the house clearing. Shamanic requirements are, like I said, all different at different levels. Benefits is actually an accelerated path of spiritual growth, masquerading as an energy healer's course. You'll be transformed at every level. Benefits, you truly embody what it means to be a magical, intuitive healer. You will learn the ancient arts of the Wu shamans. These are for real magical abilities that you really can't believe you're capable of, and yet you'll be doing this work just very easily and automatically, and that's just how it is. You become part of a community of healers who support each other and have each other's back. You will be doing amazing work, and it's important to have friends who you can share with. So finally, tuition. So the whole course of 4-day seminars, 1 3-day clinic is for $43.55 USD. Each seminar is $9.95 USD for a total of $39.80 plus $3.75 for the clinic. If you do the seminar by video, you can take the seminar without charge when it's offered again, like the following year. Canadian students are welcome to pay in Canadian dollars with a discount to just 200 CAD extra per seminar and 450 CAD tuition for the clinic. We want this course to be affordable. Each seminar is $10.95 when attended individually and without the commitment to the year-long program. And there's a deposit to be paid for the year-long program. Students who commit to the full year-long training and clinic get a saving of $400. And please contact John for a registration form, And payment plans are available if needed, and we do not charge interest. And also, if there's an issue with the finances, do contact us and let us know that that is a reason why you wouldn't be taking the course, because we do want people to be able to take this course. It's our dharma in the world. So yes. Okay. So that leads us to the meditation. Because if I do the meditation first, you're going to get in a high space maybe, and then it'll
Actually,
be...
one quick question
Okay,
I
a
want to
question.
answer
Sure.
here that was in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Kyla was wondering, are the recordings right after class? I will let you know what the way that we do the recordings is you will get what we call a rough cut recording right after every day's class. So you'll get that day's recording. It will be a rough cut, which means it's not edited, it's not anything. So if you want to find something in particular, you're going to have to remember when it was during the day. after the weekend is done, I will give you a very much a lovely version, which is edited with all kinds of different um, timestamps in there to help you support to find exactly the information you're looking for. So that, and with more editing and stuff. So you'll get that afterwards, but that won't, there's no way to do that each day. So you'll get that after the weekend's done, but you will have a copy of it so that if you miss a day, you can always look at it and find the information you're looking for.
Yeah, you're really babied. Yeah, we really wanted to make this, we may try and make it this as easy and flowing for you as possible. So,
Okay, let's do a meditation.
yes.
Oh, Stacy's asked a question.
Yes. What's the question?
Oh, Stacy was wondering about missing weekday classes and catching up afterwards because she works during the week and will only be able to attend the weekend ones.
We have people who do that.
We have people that do it. It's just a little more on you to kind of have to watch videos and stuff because the weekends will, everything kind of builds on that, but we have had people successfully do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that is the only way you can do it, then, but it's really important that you're there for the weekend and that you take the time each day to watch the content from the previous day. And so that's what we would say about that. It's very important that you keep up. And so it's a lot on you to work and listen every day.
No, no, weekends aren't more important. It just it's for the people that can't be there. It's going to be important that they keep up.
Yeah, that they show up on the weekend.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can't show up on the week or the weekend, then that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
You need to show up. Yeah. Okay. I think I've got my sound ready to go here. So do you hear that, John?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. And it's okay. Okay, so here we go. The meditations are always channeled. There's an energetic transmission that you get from these meditations. So we bring them through from higher beings, guides, beings of light, so that you can really get the full transmission every time that we do the meditation. So here we go. Welcome. And thank you all for being here, for taking this time. For this course of work is a great blessing. It is an offering into the world, and it is for you to see if this is matching with you. Does this match you? Would this be your offering? Indeed, this work will bring you, if this is your path, to be more of who you truly are in the world. For if you are meant to be a healer and a teacher, then you are greatly supported, and in many ways your energies are enhanced by the great transformation that you can go through following this path. Good. Good. And so breathing deeply, smiling. Feel how that smile lights you up. And looking up slightly as if you were looking up above the horizon to a wonderful light that is there, a beautiful golden light. Invite this light in through the crown or over you through the crown. That light is shining upon you. Feel it shine down the front of your body to your feet. This golden light now can shine down over the back of your body to your feet, down the right side to the feet, down the left side to the feet, so that you have a wonderful golden glow about you. And then receiving more of this golden light, and seeing it now coming down as it pours down from above and enters through the crown. And it lights up your brain, lights up the left hemisphere of your brain. The right hemisphere of your brain crosses back and forth, balancing your brain into the cerebellum at the back of your brain. It lights up the glands of the brain. And we would say, do not worry about exact locations. Just again, use your intention, and the energy will move there. So that golden light now coming into the pineal and the pituitary glands, thalamus, hypothalamus, brainstem. Invite the light into your eyes, to your optic nerves, visual cortex. Invite the light into your ears, your inner ears. Invite this light into your nose and your sinus cavities. Invite this healing light into your mouth, your teeth, your gums, and your tongue. Invite golden light down to pour down through your throat. And as it does, it illuminates your thyroid gland, bringing healing and balance. Letting the golden light continue down behind the sternum to light up your thymus gland. And from there, pouring into the heart. Let this beautiful healing golden light illuminate your heart so that it glows, so that it feels peaceful and harmonious. This golden light now flowing up into your lungs. Golden light lighting up your lungs and taking a wonderful deep breath. Smiling, having a sense of well-being in your lungs. Golden light flowing down on the right side into your liver, helping to heal the liver, to help the liver. Smiling to your liver as it also fills with golden light in all the lobes of the liver. And then coming across to the spleen, the golden light filling the spleen. The wonderful glow here in the pancreas as well. Filling the pancreas with this wonderful golden light. And then bringing your awareness and your focus back to the kidneys. Notice how the energy follows your focus, and as you come to the kidneys, the golden light flows into your kidneys. The kidneys are filled with powerful energy, vitality, again, a sense of well-being. Good, inviting the golden light now to come into the stomach. Smiling to your stomach as it fills with golden light, gallbladder, your small intestine. Let yourself really be deeply in your body. Let yourself love yourself, love your body. Bring love and consciousness and light into the depths of your body as you move into these bowels, into the small intestine. There's many magical qualities, and also into the large intestine. Smiling here, filling it with light. Beautiful healing golden light rising up on the right, ascending colon, coming across the transverse colon beneath the diaphragm. Flowing down, the light flowing down the descending colon, down the sigmoid colon and the rectum. More golden light now filling the bladder and into the reproductive organs, filling them with light. Good, and feeling all this light within the body. That light now sinking into the blood, moving down into the bones, into your bone marrow, through the whole skeletal system, and then from there, expanding out into all the fascia of the body, to the muscles, into the tendons, into the skin, and out into the fields of energy all around you. Golden light expanding outward to the physical field, out beyond that into your energetic field, and out beyond that into your spiritual field. So you're in a wonderful orb of golden light. Now feeling down all of this wonderful energy now, letting it descend into the earth, bringing your awareness down into the earth, creating roots deep in the earth like a tree. Some roots stretching downwards and some roots more horizontal. But feel that earth connection. We like to connect to the spirit of the earth. Great mothering spirit. We like to connect to the elements of the earth. We like to connect with nature. So we connect to these levels of the earth. And then we invite the earth to rise up, like sap rising in the springtime, coming up, and that your body is like the tree trunk, that the energy is lifting upward through you. It is the earth reaching towards the heavens. All of your yin meridians wanting to rise up, and you are like a tree, expanding outward above you as if your arms were reaching up and off your shoulders and reaching towards the sky, towards the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, all of those heavenly bodies and the light of heaven. Smile towards the heavens, sending your gratitude to the heavens, sending this earth energy up towards the heavens, like the branches of a tree reaching out, and then drawing in that heavenly light, as if you have those leaves that can gather, like the petals of a flower being touched by the heavenly light, by the sun, the moon, the stars, like the leaves feeling the light of the sun, all of that coming down now through you and around you towards the earth. That earthly drive, like gravity going down from above. That heavenly energy sinking down, sinking force down into the earth. Those yang channels flowing downward to the earth. At the same time, be aware of the yin channels, that earth energy wanting to rise up through you towards the heavens. And feeling yourself as the conduit of these great forces of heaven and earth, moving through you. Letting yourself relax, open to the power of the heavens, flowing down to the powers of the earth, rising up and creating this balance within you. And then coming to your heart, very center, finding that place which would be the fourth chakra, the center of the chest. Finding a place in there, the home of your spirit, the home of Shem, peaceful place. In the very center of it all. Bringing that focus deeply into the very center of your chest. Breathing in here. Then exhale and expanding outward all around you like water in a pond. just goes out all around, expands. And coming back into the center of the chest, finding that energy, that heart-centered energy within you. Breathe in, exhale, expand all around, let it go, become one and connected with everything, with all of life, with all that is. And then from there, coming back into you, you breathe back in, gather all of you back together, create like a ball of energy and drop that ball into the pond and watch these luminous waves rippling all around you. And let yourself just relax and float on these waves and expand on these waves out into the infinite. That infinity that is you. Being, just being, relaxing and being. And then from that relaxed place, coming back, breathing in your energy from the front, the center of the body, from the back, on the right side, nice breath in, the left side, a breath in, bringing yourself back in from below, from above, coming back in, more and more, breathing in from all around. And then bringing that energy from all inside you down into the lower part of your body. Breathing here into what we call the dantian, placing your hands here. Letting all the energy gather here. Maybe gently gathering like snow. Coming back. Peaceful way. And then breathing up your back, over your head and down the front of the body. Do a few of these breaths up the back, down the front. Feeling yourself back into your body, back into connection with who you are. And again, good. And gathering the energy here, 9 times in each direction. Rubbing your hands in these circles as you did with John earlier. And bringing your hands to your heart now. And just smiling to yourself. And appreciating yourself for being here all the way through this little class, this sample class, this intro class. And we give you great blessings, whether you continue with this or whether this is your path or not. But we bless you all and we thank you all for being here, and we want you to know that you are always loved and watched over, and that you are not alone. Okay, and then your hands together. Into your eyes, breathing in. A little wash around the face, Just coming back from that meditation, tapping over your head and down your arms. As you move the energy, really want to feel that coming down through the body, down to the abdomen, and tapping around. Oh, I'm going to change color here. Blue shirt. Down the outsides of the legs, around your feet, and coming back up to the navel. Okay. All right. I think hopefully we covered everything, but if there's more questions, we're at 11:30. So as the guide said, thank you for being here from John and I. Get you back up on here, John. Yeah, there we go. There we are. So thank you all. And we're going to turn off our recording, and then we can talk, because we don't want to put the recording with everybody on it. So then we can actually talk about
any other
whatever.
questions and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you all for being here. And those who are listening later.